Today on the channel, we continue on with some more best of 2023 lists. And in today's video, we're counting down my top 10 favorite Super 7 Ultimate figures of 2023.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Best of 2023 Top 10 list. And today, we're headed over to Super 7. We're headed to their Ultimate lines to find out my top 10 favorite Super 7 figures of 2023. And of course, as usual, this is my list. Put your list in the comments down below, and this encompasses everything Super 7 delivered to us in the Ultimates line. Of course, we know about the Ultimates. Everything scales together. All the different worlds can be brought together here. And of course, like all the big toy lines out there, some good, some bad. We definitely have that with Super 7, but I got a lot of Super 7 figures this year. Super 7 gets a little controversial from time to time. I see it in the comments all the time. Oh, they're garbage. Oh, we don't like how the head sculpts look. But at the same time, we get so many characters, especially from my generation, that we would never get from any other toy line ever, and Super 7 does give that to us. And we always have to take that step back. While Super 7's a decent-sized company, they are not Mattel. They are not Hasbro. They just are not, so they're just operating at a different level, a different amount of product, too, with price points, things like that. It's been some up and downs this year for Super 7. I think a lot of it has to do with the COVID time frame. We've been talking about that since COVID began, that eventually COVID runs out, and we all know toy lines and a lot of different things that are manufactured, they're manufactured way in advance, so the orders are already in, and I think Super 7 felt a little bit of that this year, that, hey, the over-ordering of product, the COVID demands have died down, they're stuck with a lot of extra product. That's why we saw these big sales at Entertainment Earth, these big sales, of course, at Big Bad Toy Store. I do believe that Super 7 will right that ship in 2024. My guess is a lot of people, myself included, are guilty of it, saying, hey, I'm going to wait till it goes on in stock at Entertainment Earth, going to use discount code Kyle, going to save myself 10% and get free shipping on something. That worked out great for me this year, but I do think those days are coming to a close, and I think we could see it go back to pre-COVID days from Super 7, where the pre-order is the pre-order. There'll be a little bit extra, but not like we've seen in 2023. So I think we'll see in 2024, a lot of people saying, I'm waiting for a sale. That sale will never come. That product will never come. But we'll see. You know, as Jerry Reed always says, we've got a long way to go and a short time to get. As usual, Jerry Reed always correct. But without further ado, let's get after it. Let's count this down. Of course, we start at number 10. Work our way to number 1. We're going to begin here at my number 10 Super 7 Ultimate figure of 2023. Starting the countdown off at the number 10 spot comes from a brand new Ultimates line in 2023. We did just get recent announcements of a couple extra figures into 2024. We'll see where this line goes, but where are we going? Well, we're going to the Toxic Crusaders, don't call them Avengers, Crusaders line, and we're going to Junkyard at number 10. Talk about stealing my heart and never letting go. You guys know I'm a sucker for a hairy bipedal creature. I'm a sucker for a werewolf, and Junkyard covering a lot of that. And then you throw on that crazy 90s kind of neon colors. Man, I'm here for it all day long. Crazy heads on this one. I stuck with the crazy tongue-out head on him. Got like the painter's skater hat going there. Just a very vibrant figure. And this whole line, very vibrant. And I was a big fan as a little kid watching the Toxic Avenger. Crusaders, I didn't really get into the cartoon. I remember just thinking it was absolutely god-awful when I watched it. But that being said, I have a lot of nostalgia for this toy line, as I, of course, go into stores, to the KBs and the Toys R Us's, Walmarts, whatever it may be back in the day, and seeing the Toxic Crusader toys. Much like the Kenner Swamp Thing toys. I love Swamp Thing. Didn't like the cartoon, didn't like the toys, but now all these years later, I see Toxic Crusader toys. I see Swamp Thing toys. I am very nostalgic for those. It's just a very weird thing. I'm not going to go back and get the classic ones, I don't think at least. But I will buy new Ultimates of the Toxic Crusaders. And hey, Super 7, while you're at it, let's get those Swamp Thing Kenner-inspired ones in the line. I'd be there for that as well. But Junkyard, just a very fun figure, a figure that can stand on its own with the Crusaders, but also one that doesn't feel out of place with the Super 7 Ultimates Ninja Turtles line. So I want to point that out as well. And I should have pointed this out at the top of the video. There will not be any Ninja Turtles in this line. I'm just not familiar enough with that line. I've just started unboxing them. I've been collecting them all mint on card since they began. Well, here we are now. I'm finally getting around on Kyle Peterson 2.0. Make sure you subscribe, as every single Tuesday we're unboxing a Turtles Ultimate. 2024 best ofs, we will definitely do a Super 7 Ultimates Turtles in this line here. So I just wanted to put a little asterisk there. Should have done it at the top, did it right here. But Junkyard coming in hot, number 10. Coming in at the number 9 spot, you could very easily make the argument that this one from this line is the sleeper line from Super 7 in 2023. I was very excited for this line, and I gotta say it did not disappoint at all when it was released, as this is one I've been wanting for a long time. Never thought Super 7 would do it. Going all the way back to a long time ago when I had to admire from afar because I didn't have the money to collect the line, the World of Springfield line. Of course, you know what that means. Number 9, coming to us from Super 7 Ultimates, the Simpsons line. We're going to old Mo Sizlak at number 9. Of course, he does have his soft goods apron. One thing about Super 7, they did make this right, as they forgot the apron. They mailed it out later on. Good of them to do that. So it does look really good here. But Mo, one of the iconic Simpsons characters. I'm one of the rare breed out there that started watching The Simpsons on the Tracy Ullman Show when I was a very small boy. When I was a kid, you know, there was only X amount of channels. There wasn't all these cable channels and stuff like that. And of course, spending the nights at Grandpa and Grandma's who didn't even have cable, you were really limited for your channels. So a lot of network TV comedies, I was all in. Tracy Ullman Show, one of those ones on Fox, I was watching it. And of course, there was animated shorts for The Simpsons. Much later, they got their own series. And I've been hooked ever since. And it's been some lean years, I get it. But I'm a man of routines. I'm a man of consistency. I never give up on things. I just don't. I'm not a guy that quits. And I haven't quit watching The Simpsons since the get-go, all the way many years back. So to finally get updated Simpson figures that absolutely look next level, I am here for that all day long. Now, not sure where this line is going. It kind of feels like it's up in the air. It's moving very slow, and there's a lot of people angry that we're not getting core characters, myself included. I understand the thought process here. However, the biggest fear I think of a lot of collectors is you don't end up ever getting the main characters, and it just the line goes away or whatever. So I hope things get sped up. Hopefully we get the core family members right out of the way, and then let's start building those ancillary worlds. I think that's the way to go. We'll see what 2024 brings. Hopefully we get more Simpsons figures, but this Mo figure, an all-timer, you know who this is right off the bat, and that's why he comes in here at number 9 in the top 10 list. All right, we're feeling great at number 8. And number 8, we go to the Ultimate ThunderCats line. The ThunderCats, a bit of a transition year, as we didn't get a ton of product from them this year. We did get the Thunder Tank, but we got a lot of repaints, re-releases with some bells and whistles is what we got kind of from ThunderCats this year, including the one at number 8. And usually these don't really make my list because they don't feel so special. But this one here feels like it should be the core regular version of the character, where the one we got first should have been the repaint. What are we talking about? We're talking about Ghost Jaga. And I love translucent plastic. And Jaga, of course, primarily was a ghost. So you could say this is the main Jaga in the collection. But man, he looks cool in this translucent blue with the frosted swords. Just a great looking figure here. And one of the core characters of the ThunderCats, kind of the guiding light of the ThunderCats in a lot of ways. Just a very, very fun figure. And I love the ThunderCats. Can't wait for Cat's Lair next year. Hopefully next year, I guess we should say. But Jaga gonna look right at home there around the old Cat's Lair. He's gonna take his shoes and maybe even his pants off. Who knows what Jaga will be up to. But Jaga coming in number 8, just an all-timer, a good one, and one that's a little hard to find, as we do know. But Jaga coming in number 8 on the top 10 list. Working our way through the countdown here, we're at number 7. And number 7, once again, we go to the Ultimate Simpsons line. We go to Homer Simpson, but it is Deep Space Homer. Now, I think the majority of us would have rather had just the regular version of Homer Simpson in Series 1, but this isn't bad either. This is one of the most iconic Simpsons episodes ever, so that is pretty cool. And a lot of cool stuff with this one, with the different head sculpts, the potato chips, the astronaut costume. Just a great looking figure, and I always talk about in these videos, there's certain figures that really stand out that catch your eye. When you're looking at a bunch of figures, there's always 1, 2, 10, whatever it may be, that, whoa, look at that one, whoa, look at that one. That's what Deep Space Homer is. Just a very fabulous figure, looking just absolutely amazing. Absolutely love this one. Bring on the Simpsons. I think they can tweak this line, and there's a lot of meat on the bone here. I just hope it does continue. But Homer Simpson, Deep Space variety, coming in hot at number 7. We're down to the number 6 spot, and the number 6 spot comes from a line you're going to see a couple more times in this very video, but coming in number 6 is a dream come true for little Kyle, as my favorite cartoon finally got the ultimate treatment in 2023. And the number 6 one, we go to the ultimate Destro from G.I. Joe, of course. Now, we know all about the G.I. Joe Classified line, an all-timer of a line. One of the best lines of the last couple of decades, especially for little Kyle and old man Kyle. But off to the side for a lot of collectors is this line of Ultimates with G.I. Joe. Some people love them, some people hate them, some are in the middle. I guess you could say that about anything here. But this line really speaks to me because even going back to being a child, I always loved the G.I. Joe toys, the 3 3/4, but I always wished they were more cartoon accurate because that's my G.I. Joe. The cartoon is where I really cut my teeth first, and then I went on to other properties, things like that. So I always, when I think of a Joe character, I go back to the cartoon, and that's what this line represents. This is a cartoon accurate Destro. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely great head sculpts, great accessories, and it looks just like Destro. One of the funnest toy lines in a long, long time. Absolutely love this line. Now, they've had a few challenges here. We, of course, have some delays. Series 3 should have been in our laps by now. We did see some massive clearance where I loaded up a bunch more of those figures at $10.99 off Entertainment Earth. I hope the line continues on. I think it will be, and I'm here for all the Ultimate G.I. Joe figures, especially if they're like this Destro, which is absolutely awesome. So coming in here, coming in hot at number 6 is Destro. We've hit the halfway point in our top 10 countdown, and coming in at number 5, this one comes from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers line. A bit of a sleeper line that I put all my chips into this year, as I do really enjoy what they're doing with this line. We've unboxed quite a few on the channel. My Rangers, I'm using that as my helmeted head Ranger collection. Lightning collection is going to be my unmasked collection. That's how I've justified it in my collector's mind. But a lot of the monsters I'm here for, but some of these monsters are way better in the Ultimates line than they were for Hasbro for me. And one of those is one that comes in at number 5. We get Goldar, one of the main bad guys, of course, from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Came out very early in 2023. Love the wings, love the coloring, love the size of this Goldar. Just a great looking figure. A hairy bipedal creature monkey that flies with wings. What's there not to like about something like this? And when I think back to my childhood watching Power Rangers, he was one of the more creepy characters that I really gravitated to. It got his original Bandai figure back in the day, a few other incarnations, the Lightning collection, and then finally this one. And this one was good enough for me that it made me sell my Lightning collection. Said, I don't need that in my collection. I am good with this Goldar. So coming in at number 5, Goldar, Ultimate Edition, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Getting closer and closer to the end with every single spot, but number 4, once again, we return to the G.I. Joe Ultimates line, and I got some beef. You guys know about it. I've talked about it a lot this year on the channel in many a G.I. Joe review. I might have beef with this character, but a good figure is a good figure, and a must-have figure is a must-have figure, and that's where number 4 comes in. This one, of course, G.I. Joe Ultimates, the true not leader of G.I. Joe. We're talking about Duke. And as much as I slack and bag on Duke and throw him under the bus and all that kind of stuff, a good figure is a good figure. And this looks like Duke stepped right out of the cartoon series back in the day. Absolutely love it. Love the pointing finger here. Hey, everybody do the work that I'm not going to do. You guys all go do that. Where Flint giving the fist. Let's go, team. Let's get after it. But Duke, you know, he leads his way. It's wrong, but he leads his own way here. But you can't deny how cool this figure is. absolutely awesome, and this one blew me away from the get-go, blows me away to this day. This is Duke, and that's why he's coming in hot at number 4. We're down to the final 3 in the Super 7 Top 10 Countdown for 2023, and we go from possibly the worst leader of all time at number 4 to the best leader of all time at number 3. Talk about the yin and yang. Number 3, he's got his challenges, but it's still amazing. We go to Flint, the true leader of G.I. Joe, coming in at number 3. Now, of course, the elephant in the room is why. Why would Super 7 do this to us? Duke had the greatest head sculpt ever, the facial features right where we want it. They took a step back here with Flint and the rest of this line. Just very, very unfortunate. I would love some corrected heads for these because take the head away, man, this is Flint all day long. Once again, this is Flint right from this TV series, the cartoon. The classic weapons, the classic face look, even without the color, looks just like him. The beret, the extra heads, the beautiful coloring, just what I wanted from Super 7 outside of the face. If they could have got the face on this right, this probably would have been right at the top of the list. It's already there, but it would have been in a fighting chance with number 1. I don't know if it would have got there, but it would have had a fighting chance at least. But man, the true leader of G.I. Joe, give me all the Flints. I would love to see this one re-ran again. Maybe they give us a Tiger Force Flint and we can kind of sneak ahead off of that. I don't know. I know a lot of people say we shouldn't have to pay for him again, and I totally agree with that as well. Would have loved to have seen what they did with Mo, where they gave us the apron later. Give us the right head sculpt. Would love to see that, but we'll see what happens in the future. But for right now, Flint coming in hot at number 3. Really starting to see a theme here is what we are, is we're at the number 2 spot here. And once again, we go to the Ultimates G.I. Joe line for possibly, at this point, the definitive version of the character in my eyes. I always talk about it when I lay my head on the pillow at night and I close them eyes and I think about something. What do I think of? And this is pretty much it for this character. Coming in at number 2, it is the G.I. Joe Ultimates Cobra Commander. Now, I can see some people say they think of him in the hood, but I always think of him in this look first, and I always think of him in the cape. I remember as a little kid playing with my Joes, badly wanting a Cobra Commander in a cape. We saw him in a cape in the cartoons, the openings, things like that. We saw him holding the world. We saw him all this kind of bells and whistles. Here we are in 2023. They're getting us this Cobra Commander. And I know some people saying, well, they didn't have to do faces on this one. That's why it's so good. I don't care. If they don't have a face or no face, it's still an amazing figure. And I really do think I'd have to do a top 5, probably a top 10 Cobra Commander video on the channel. But right now, off the top of my head, it doesn't get much better than this. And I'm even thinking back to childhood nostalgia figures as well in that list. Absolutely love this Cobra Commander. Just an all-timer, a must-have. And when this went up to Entertainment Earth the last week or so, what is time, I had to buy multiples of these at $10.99. I couldn't pass up another one for a mint on card collection. I like the figure that much. So Cobra Commander coming in hot at number 2. And now we're down to 1. And there can only be one, like a young Highlander. Who's the number 1 spot? Stay tuned. Reach the number 1 spot. Once again, make sure you get your list together. Make sure you put it in the comments down below. Make sure you put them in order. That is the hard part, but that is the fun part. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, as we got videos every single day and then some. And we got 2 YouTube channels now, so make sure you subscribe to each one of those. But the number 1 figure this year for Super 7 in their Ultimates line could very possibly be my favorite figure of all time. It is that good of a figure. I'd have to sit down and get the calculator out, the pen, the pencil, the paper, and really go to work at it here. But this one came in at the tail end of this year. Just squeaked by to be a part of this list here. But I have been absolutely blown away by this figure. I'm going to order 1 more. I have 3 in my possession currently. I'm going to get 1 more to keep on card. I want to display every single look. This is what I want out of my action figures, and no doubt this was number 1. Right after I got done reviewing, well, that's it. This is the number 1 Super 7 figure this year by far. What are we talking about? Of course, we're going to the Ultimates line. We're hailing Motorhead with the leader, Lemmy. No doubt about it. You guys knew this would be on a list here for me somewhere. But man, the attention to detail to this Lemmy. I just love that it's a labor of love with this Lemmy figure. Kyle, good brother number 1, fellow heavy metal guy. We sit and we talk heavy metal. We have at San Diego Comic-Con via text, things like that. So I know Kyle Kyle's love heavy metal first off, but this means a lot to both of us, and this meant a lot to him working on this. This means a lot to me getting to unbox this and have this in my collection. It's just really is Lemmy from this era. And I've had a lot of people say, well, where's his hat? Where's this? Man, that's like nails on a chalkboard to me. That breaks my heart because Lemmy just didn't always wear a top hat. He wasn't always old Lemmy. He was young, vibrant Lemmy at one time, back when he was a roadie for Jimi Hendrix even. But I am here for all the Lemmy figures they want to bring, but this is probably where you got to start. And if you're really honest with yourself, this was the biggest Lemmy and Motorhead ever was. This is around the Hammersmith live album at the time, their only #1 hit album of all time, or of their career, I should say. But just an amazing Ace of Spades era, Overkill, Iron Fist, you name it. But the attention to detail, down to the rings, the heads, the guitar, all of the bells and whistles with this one you would want. Truly a passion project, truly a labor of love, truly something I'm honored to have in my collection here. And I'm going to try to even track down some like prototypes on eBay. They always have those Japan prototypes and stuff. I need something like that, or Chinese prototypes, I guess. I need one of those in my collection as well. So I'm going to try to hunt one of those down. But this Lemmy figure, an all-timer, means a lot to me. As you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve, especially with my Motorhead love. You knew this would be #1, and that's where it landed at the #1 Super 7 Ultimate figure of 2023 is my boy Lemmy. So there it is. The list is done. Once again, put your list in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to both YouTube channels. Don't forget about the Patreon for early access to videos like this and all the other videos from both YouTube channels. You also get bonus content over there as well. And Patreon, guess what? Best way to support the channel and all the content it does bring. You can also support the channel, ProWrestlingTees.com, and don't forget to follow along over on social media. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for the top 10 Super 7 Ultimates of 2023, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.